Hello, everyone. This is Saul again on my daily live stream, doing some editing. Well, some microphone set up here. Improving the vdaw audio editor that I've been working on inside of as a vdaw plugin inside of vdaw. So I'm just going to get started. I've been waiting for this for, well, since last night anyway. Last night I went and did edit the transcript, at least annotated the transcript. And so Wombat, we're here. And so I wanted to get going on those things. I've got several things to do today. So, boy, where should we start? So I'm thinking that we're going to start with some basics here. Let me see, where am I actually going to make differences here? A couple of notes. That's it. Okay, so I added some aggregators. Okay, great. So I added those default aggregators. Let me show, actually, when people show up. Oh, hey, Anya, welcome. If anybody else shows up in a few minutes, I'm going to do a little demo of the vdaw plugin as it stands currently. In the meantime, I'm going to just bang out some easy ones here, get myself started. Yeah, so let me review here. I know, it is. It is exciting. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm looking for my to-do list here that I have in this file. So I'm not going to start with a skipping segment. I really want this skipping cut segments thing to work, but I think it's going to be more work than I am up for at the outset here anyway. I'm definitely going to do that early. And I wanted to unload set header or something to colorize only first here of section. Rename marker to section, I think. And then this is, okay, yeah, this is a response to something you were saying on Friday, I think it was, or one of these times anyway, where you were like, maybe every line in the section should have the same marker instead of just the first one. I think ultimately you are right. And it's going to makes it easier. And in fact, as I'm looking through this, I think I already showed you this, but in vdaw, I can use Shift F to roll up these markers. And if I have my aggregators set properly, it's just going to work and show me the durations and yeah, show me the sections and things. That's actually super handy. That's only if they're all already set. So I kind of wish, well, I was going to say these three rows in the bottom, I've got different ones for min, max, and sum, and I kind of wish that the min and the max, well, actually all of them could be on one line. And it's a little bit tricky because they're, sorry, you're right, the color will feel better. Yeah, if only the first one's highlighted. Yeah, because then you can see the edits and yeah. And then, yeah, and it's just, this looks neater, I think. Anyway, I wish that these bottom three rows were all on the same line, but then it's confusing. How do you say this is the min and this is the max and this is the sum? I don't know. I mean, there's ways to do it if I were just designing it separately, but how to do it in the general case is a little trickier. Anyway, it's fine for now. It gets the point across. This is how vdaw itself works, so if we're making any improvements to this, it would be to vdaw as a whole, which I'm not up for at the moment. Okay, so let's change this. Let's go here, and I'm going to start by making it so that when we load it, we're going to set this. Let me start with this one here. So on load, interload, I'm getting back into this here. I haven't seen this in a while. It's code in a while, so it takes me a hot minute to investigate. So I'm trying to select the participants so I can see the list of people who are in this chat, but it's not letting me do that. Weird. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, here we go. Replace base rows. What is that? Oh, okay, sure. Add or dictify base rows. There's a lot of things to do here. The base rows, I want to be renamed to something else. Basically, there's a lot of things that are going to happen between this version and the next version, or quote version, that's going to make my current file incorrect, but I mean, it'll be fine. The only user here, right? We'll do a manual migration process with Vim or something and call it good. But as we're going through these words here, let's see here. So if the current header, if the marker for the current header, for the current one is not current header, then we set the current header equal to that. And set the header equal to, actually we're going to do both, aren't we? And good enough. As this is only the first one, row of a section as header. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to change the colorizer. Pardon me. This is header, section headers. Oh, sorry, this is for the filter parameters. What am I doing? This one is for the section headers. Here. And it's actually vdaw header, not marker. Okay, and actually just do this. Nope, nothing ever works the first time. Oh, because some of them don't have a marker. Okay, fine. Okay. Oh, sorry, I got lost here. So I was looking at the blue as for the key columns. We've got a bunch more key columns now. Okay, I gotta fix this here. First of all, this marker is actually called section. I'm gonna change that right quick. And I'm not sure. Well, at the very least, the number of keys here is 2 at most. Just the marker and the speaker. And it's not keys, really. And so some part of me wants to just, like, remove the keys entirely. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I don't think that... If we're going to have the times in there, it shouldn't be the start and the end time, I don't think. I mean, they are unique in that case. I don't know. Well, I'm torn. But at the very least, we can do this. And I was going to set this marker to be set to header. So let's look and see what we've got here. So marker. Oh, but the problem, I'm sorry, not header. I'm going to change it to section. But the problem is I don't want to edit my data file just yet. So I'll leave that until I see how complex it is. And we're going to use markers to mean a point in time in the script, and we actually will add a row for that. But the section will be just an annotation that every line in the section has the same thing for the section. Go marker next, go header next, go section next, probably. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of a survey here to see where I'm sitting with regard to... And you know, actually, one thing that I really want... Okay, so now that this works, I believe this works here. 2, Thanks for that. That's fine. Okay, close enough, and then I can. I want to make this here. This go marker next. Use header. So I'll just change it up here. Wow. Yep, there's all my section headings. Great. Okay, so what I was going to do was add this around. Let me actually clean this up here. Done. Not yet. The next thing. Oh, and then emit the header for only the first one. Okay, I have to do that actually. In the save. Yeah, let me just do that. Header. I could do the same thing in this. It doesn't have to be on the row. And in fact, I shouldn't depend on it being on the row. I think I'm going to make it be that if, I will just use the same logic as before. We're going to have the previous header, the previous section. Header, I guess. Row dot get marker prev header. Same exact thing. And so now if I have this and save this off as some XMD and then edit it. No, that didn't work. Was that actually wrong in the first place? Oh my gosh, that's been wrong for a while. Okay, well, let's try again. Okay, there's the intro, magmatter, perfect. Okay. So that's fine. Move that over there, I guess. Okay, and so when we save it, that's done. And so now we're just gonna commit some things because the next thing I want to do is reorganize this just slightly. I've been wanting to do this for a little bit. Basically, there's 587 lines of code in this file, including the filter stuff, the MPD process, which we haven't been touching in a while, and this filter parameters sheet. And so I kind of want to separate those out, be a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to commit this stuff here. Sure. So we've only first marker, vdaw. Did stuff, the classic get message. Okay. Although I use these pluses to indicate what stuff I did. Did that, did that, did that. Okay. Okay, so what I wanted to do in vdaw experimental right now, I've got this well, merge transcripts, XMD to JSON. Those are like separate scripts that aren't even part of vdaw, but they're kind of as part of this DAW process. And then this readme.vdaw. It's basically, it's becoming a multi-file thing anyway. So I'm going to make this DAW directory. This thing we have this Noah's Tapestry directory. At least I thought we had that in there. Maybe not. Pardon me. I thought we had this. Maybe it got moved to features? No. Oh. Oh, I was trying to seed into it. Okay, anyway, so yeah, there's the Noah's Tapestry is the game, the Witty, the Where in the Data game that we made a couple years ago. And it's checked in here so we can play it from within vdaw. But anyway, this is all experimental. We're going to make an experimental DAW directory that we did already. And move these files in there. So this is daw.py into DAW. And I think it really is nice to make it be, have the init be fairly clean. I would normally just make this be the init file, but let's see. What do I call this? This is actually the editor. It's a transcript. Oh, maybe it's just vdaw. I'll call it vdaw for now. And then I want to move vdaw merge experimental merge transcripts to there, as well as the XMD to plot to there. And it's funny, like this, once I had this experimental README in there, I was like, well, it just should have its own directory. That's all it needs. That was the thing that pushed me over the edge. And we have to make a, okay, I'm going to quit this. Anything else? Yeah, I'm going to quit this. And edit everything in there, including a new init file. I think I'm just going to import everything. DAW, or vdaw rather. Oh, that's it though. Okay, for now that's it. And now if I run this, it should work just the same because I'm importing from experimental.daw. Okay, so I think that's all fine. And so that's everything moved into there, including the vdaw piece, which is where I'm working in. Okay. So I could commit this, but I'm going to do one more step here, which is to move this MPV stuff into its own file. Experimental MPV process. MPV proc? MPV process goes in there. And at the very least, that goes in here. Is there anything else I need for this to work? Shoot. Although, that's just for annotation for the moment. BD. Okay. Seems good. Now if I run this, I'm going to get an error. Yep, no MPV process. Now we're going to go vdaw. Can I do this? I always forget if I can do... Yeah, you can't do that. So I have to import that here first. What? MPV? Oh, from that MPV. All right. Oh, socket. Okay, that's fair. I'm doing all. There's the last one. Just let me know which ones they are. Okay. Okay, so that seems to work. And then if I play this, it should work. Today's episode is. Okay, great. So that moved the stuff around, including the MPV process, and now I should be able to go back into vdaw and get rid of some things. Is OS path not in here? Oh. I didn't realize I could do that. Time. Huh. Oh. Okay, I'll import time here too. Well, where does copy come in? Do I not need that anymore? I don't need it. Okay. Great. So moving. Isn't it nice that you're building this? I don't know what you mean, Anya. I mean, in some ways, it's like, well, yeah, duh, that's why I'm doing it. But also, I feel like you must be asking a different question. What's that one sentence that's got like 7 words, and whichever one of the 7 words you stress or put an accent on, it changes the meaning of the sentence? Not sure that's not the case here. No, not quite Buffalo. No, it's gosh, I don't know how we even find that. It's like you didn't kill your brother, did you? You didn't kill your brother, did you? You didn't kill your brother, did you? Etc. You know. Yeah. Okay, sure. But well, anyway, if you can elaborate your question or clarify your question, I'd be happy to answer it. Okay. So yeah, so reorganizing that, and then I wanted to consider moving the filters parameter sheet, maybe. It's not as important. There's only a few of these, but it is kind of nice to have every sheet in its own place. I'll leave it here for now, especially because there's like interactions here like that. But the big bulk thing there, I guess it was only 100 lines of code that got moved, or 150 lines of code that got moved into this MPV. It still feels nicer to me. So anyway, although this vdaw MPV command, that should go in MPV. vdaw include cuts, same here. Okay. Let's add this stuff and add the spam until both of those. PV and see where we're at. Okay, vdaw reorg into Dodger. Sure. Okay. Okay, well, I'm back. So the big things that I wanted to do today. This one, so okay, let me do a little demo here. I'm not sure if anybody else is watching, but I'll give you a demo yourself here, Anya. So I got this working so that they're all labeled now, all these different sections. And like I showed, I think in previously, I can roll these up. These are in order by how many lines they have in them. But if I sort it by start time, then it's actually an outline of what we're talking about, which is kind of nice. And then here's the duration in seconds. I'm going to set this to a standard format. I actually want this to be the case automatically. And I think it's just a matter of moving the, so in vdaw, let's see here. So if I look in vdaw in the frequency table, which is in pivot here, when it's making the columns, the aggregation columns, it copies over the format string, but not the formatter. And so I think that may just be the fix here, make it just do the right thing automatically. Sure enough. And then it copies the other ones too, which is nice. Okay. So that's a change we'll take to vdaw itself. I mean, and then there's also the displayer separately. So I think like we should be copying over the formatter and the displayer. What else is here in here? It feels like there's some other stuff. But for the moment, I'm going to do just this and call it good. No, yes. Aggregators. Okay. Good enough. And so what was I doing? What I wanted to, oh, so the issue is I've been finding it a little bit difficult to edit this. Now, part of it is just the sizing here. Like, you know, I kind of, yeah, it goes off the end, but that's minor. I may only want the start time. I may be able to hide the end time and possibly the duration column. Actually, if I hide these and then do this, it does not include them. So that's a bit of a bummer. So maybe I make this like be like a real tiny one. Maybe. And then when I do it, I still get it, but it's kind of hanging out here. So I could do something like that. But I think the biggest issue is that this column, there's a lot of text that can be in here. And when it's all written out, it actually is nice to have individual lines that are where each individual line has a certain amount of content, but I don't want it to be stretching off at the end. And when I use the multi-line feature of vdaw, I mean, it's adequate, but it's just kind of clunky, right? Like, I don't want to read things like this. I want to read things more transcripty when I'm doing actual transcript work, which I guess makes sense. And so I'm, well, the feature that I was thinking of adding here was a reformatting feature. So I think, did I have it? No, it's in here. I was saying R and GR. And I mean, those are already in use by core, they're basic vdaw sheets, but they're for like finding a row by its key, which is not really relevant here. So I think if I made this be a reformat command, R would reformat the current row only, and GR would do all selected rows. So GSGR would just reformat it down. The idea is that it would take the column width that we've got here and format it to there. It's kind of like the text sheet. vdaw has a text sheet. Let me load this up here. Text sheet. And it does wrapping, word wrapping, just like this. And it uses the Python standard library text wrap thing with the width of the column. And this will be a little more complicated than this because we have to actually get the words in the base rows and like the sub word timings and carry them along. That's not that big of a deal, I don't think. This might come part and parcel with the other feature I want to implement today, which is when you split a line, right now it splits it at the, I think it's, well, on the top level. Basically, I want to, if you've got multiple levels of groups, you want to split it possibly at the bottommost level, but then keep all the different levels on both sides of the cut. So it just feels like it's the same row, just half over here and half over there. And so that, along with this, to cut similarly at, so we want to cut both at a time boundary and at a word boundary. I'm going to do a little bit of research into text wrap here. And see if there's a, let's see, I'm looking for a, to see if it does it on a word boundary always, if we can force that. There, break long words should not be true. That's the biggest issue. And break on hyphens should be false also. Wrap. What's wrap and fill? Oh, I see. Thank you for that. Fix sentence endings. Yeah, so anyway, this is my first task. Because I want this, and I think this is gonna make it easier to read. Okay. I don't know. I don't care about that. Okay, so yeah, so we'll get rid of break long words and break on hyphens. I'm going to take a brief break here. I'll be back in a minute or two. And in the meantime, you guys can wombat and you can watch my lo-fi wear screen as a screensaver. Burb. Hello? Can you hear me now? Hey. Okay, good. I don't know. Oh, I see. That's the other. Okay. Well, I don't know. Hey, Cthulhu Hoops. Okay, welcome. Sorry for the delay here. Yeah, whenever I mute the microphone, no, I unplugged the microphone to fix the positioning, and then when I came back, I couldn't just turn it back on. I had to like re-add it. Anyway, I'm here now. We're back. So I was just saying, I'm not sure if you were here for this, but the next thing we're doing is some word wrapping of all the text, basically doing some reformatting so that I can get a little, run down the width of the column here, a bunch of text that I can read through it. And the only challenge compared to standard word wrapping is I want to keep the word timings, the individual word timings intact as I do it. So if you can pull this off. And that's that one here. And let me do some other little bit of a split row to give them time. So that one there, these two together are the main things today. I've already got the duration of each segment. Aggregated time, yeah. Okay. I've already done that stuff. Okay, great. So yeah, so those are the main two things I want to do here. And if I can do that, then I will have a better time. Well, okay, so that's the two main things. And then the third thing, if I had like a little more time, is to make it so that playing the audio skips cut sections. It already happens if it happens to notice it at the exact right time, and I want to be a little bit more dialed in. Anyway, let's see if we can't do this first a little bit to reformat stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a command here, this R, to reformat row, I guess. Cursor row. Let's do one row at a time for now. And then I had a professor in college he was an older Japanese fellow who had done a lot of very early work on early transistors, and he would get up to the blackboard. It was a actual literal blackboard, chalkboard, and he would write down an equation in silence, and then he would say, and then he would write down the next step of the equation, and that was the only things that he spoke while he was writing this complicated math on the blackboard. I didn't wind up doing very well in that class, but at the time I was like, oh, can you be a little bit more verbal here when you're writing things down? And I'm sure as a teacher he probably should have been. Here I am at the same thing, kind of just saying, and then. And so if you guys hear me say that while I'm coding, you know what I'm referencing. So we're going to reformat this row. We're going to replace the row with, let's see here. This is the same general deal as expanding the rows. And so we're going to take the existing current row, we're going to find the index. Oh, given the index. Oh, interesting. Right. We want the row index here too, don't we? And then we're going to get this list of formatted rows, which is going to be a copy of the row with its word, which should be really text now. Word replaced with the certain halves, and its base rows replaced with the halves of those words. So that's the tricky one here. So yeah, we're going to use, I hope to use the text wrap standard library module to do all the heavy lifting. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it'll make it nicer if we can. Actually, this should be tight enough that I shouldn't even have to compare words. I should be able to just count words to figure out what goes on which side of the other. Let's find out. So the width, we already know, the column width. We're going to do a text wrap dot wrap of our text, row dot word. We want to change that soon. Width equals okay, so I don't think I care about anything else here, and we're just going to get the, what does it return? Just the list of output lines. Okay. This is formatted rows, but we're actually going to make the list of formatted rows. And so for each line that we're going to add a formatted row and a copy of the row, which is, you know, partial row. There's our copy that I took away. Of the row, actual full row. And then we have to set the base rows equal to whatever's in this line here. You know, it's not really, because there could be any number of levels, we can't just do this the easy way. Well, let's do this. Let's just get it working to a first degree here. So rather than set the base rows, we're going to keep the base rows from the initial thing on both, which is totally wrong, but at least it'll show us that the formatting is working. This is row word equals line. Okay. This might actually work just as it is, just to at least do the, I think I can just do it like this. Reformat. I don't know how to import that. Okay, so that's wrong. Oh, not append to row, append to PR. That's bunk. Okay. My fault. Nope, not that. me reformat this. Okay, so yeah, that's what I want, is to have it look kind of like that. Great. Okay, and so I'm now I have to do the hard work here, which is figuring out where in the base rows you have to split. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time having a mental model of this. I have to do the exact same thing with the split. Basically, the idea is that if I press right now A in the middle of audio, it's got to split the line at that exact point, or at least between the words that it's at. And I want it to split, like I was saying, such that the structure is the same. And the so the structure is the same, just with the bottommost, well, the right half on the one and the left half on the other one. I'm not explaining this very well, but it's maybe that's part of the problem, is I can see it in my brain how it needs to turn out, but I can't see how to structure the solution. It feels like it's just a pretty straightforward, simple, recursive solution. You just dive down into each one, splitting each one, and then when you get to the bottom, you find the rows that mean, yeah, basically you're either going to be cleanly on one side of the pivot in the time case, or in the middle of a pivot, or the pivot will be in the middle of your row, in which case you have to dive into the row and do the same. That's okay. That seems clear to me. Then how do we do it based on word is the issue, because finding the actual individual word, like, it has to be, you kind of have to know where we are. And it might just be that we're literally tracking in the base rows how many words we've done, and then use the time for that. Yeah, maybe that's the best we can do, or the easiest thing you can do. And we'll use the same logic to split on a time and as on a word. I think that's what I'm going to wind up doing. Okay, so adjust this here, get myself into the right frame of mind. Yeah, I'm torn. I feel like I should do the split row with time first, especially because I kind of started it last night just briefly. And then I have it in a stash, but it's half done and kind of muddled, so maybe I just do it over again with my so unmuddled thoughts right now. So let's see here. So let's say split row. Index and give it a time. And this is going to return tuple of it's not the rows. Yeah, I do have to do this one first so I can see how the interface looks. Okay, how many words do we have so far? We're on word number. This is going to be Oh, but I have to dig down for this. Boy. I could do a count words for every bit and split on number of words, and that might actually be easier even in the split case, because instead of doing it on time, I'll find the word number and split based on that. This is where I'm kind of wanting this row object to be more than just a simple dictionary and actually be able to talk about or think about its word list more intelligently. And that way I don't have to set the start and the end. It would just figure it out. Same thing with iteration. It would cut things out automatically. Well, okay, let's see. If I were to do this, how would I structure that object? I would have a edit row, maybe? I don't know. Something like that. And I'm not even going to bother having it be a proper dictionary, I don't think. It'd be like one of those data classes. The main thing is that I would like to have a let's call it text property. This is me noodling here, and I'll be making less progress in the short term, but I'll be hopefully tackling a bunch of things that I wanted to do and make it easier on myself algorithmically as I do. So the inner rows, sub-rows, there are sub-rows. And there's a property called start, speaker, string. Okay, so this This is interesting. Okay, so this is how I kind of want it to work. And the issue is that there's no base case. This is going to dive all the way down into uncut rows for everything. But at the bottom there actually are these similar row objects here. Well, okay, maybe that's the issue. Maybe they're not. Maybe there's two different levels. There's the main, most of the rows on the other level are this edit row, but then at the very, very bottom, they're literally just JSON dict objects, maybe converted to attr dicts, that have their own start on them. And then these are the aggregates that sum up, that roll those up, but that's true for all of these pieces, the start, the end, the duration, the text. And cut, I think I'm going to make it, okay, maybe it is. Then this is a totally virtual object. Look at me using types. So what I kind of wanted for a cut was if anything is cut, if everything is cut in all of its sub rows. If there are any uncut rows, then it's not, then the whole section isn't cut. But if there are any uncut rows, then it's not cut. Basically, there could be subcuts, and the duration might be different than the start minus, or the end minus the start. But the yeah, so we can see if anything is wholly cut. Okay, so this is a general object I'm thinking about here. And then at the bottom there will be those actual words that have similarly these properties, but as actual properties. Not uncut rows because it doesn't need them. That's kind of a internal. Here we are, though. I mean, we're kind of doing some of the same things, although notably, look at this. The speaker we're doing something different with the speaker here and the section. Well, I'm just going to try it. This is how we're going to make some progress here. Is I've got this edit row, and sorry, now I'm thinking now about the loading process. It can convert everything to an edit row, for instance, but it's going to have to know how to do that. Right now it converts it to an attr dict, and it can't depend on the whole thing being saved. That's just JSON it's saving off as, and that's just a basic dictionary structure. We're going to have actually an actual type there. We're going to have to do it ourselves in the loader, which is why we have a custom sheet and a custom loader. So here's replace base rows, right? And it's okay. So this is kind of the This is the thing that was going to use edit row instead. This might be quite a little broken job here, where we're gonna be breaking everything and then putting it all back together in a better way. I guess that should be how it is, huh? Okay, so first we convert it. Oh, I see. No, it's not that. It actually is this, because we actually wanted it to be a edit row. Yeah. I feel like I shouldn't have to do this. How does data classes work? I thought that it's fine if they're... It's pretty easy, but let's see. It actually just has a... I think I might just want exactly what it does. Then I need to make sure that the final thing... Yeah, okay, I'm going to have a type error here anyway. Boy. I don't want to have sub-rows, though, in the constructor. Maybe I do this by hand. Oh well. Section, speaker, cut, start and end are all the way down there, and then word. No more data class, sorry. Okay. So this kind of feels like it might do it. Property cut of edit row. Oh, this has to be tab, but it's going to complain that it can't find start. Oh, cut then. Oh, there's a cut level. I'm gonna have to add setters to all these, to that one at least anyway. Oh. Kind of hate it, but okay, where are we here? Oh, it was working. It's just slow. Edit row has no header. Header. Edit row needs a header. So we're getting a little bit more typey as we go forward here. Yeah, it's interesting that that takes so long. Oh, why? Because it's using so much energy. Yeah, okay. Why though? I've had this error before. I don't remember how I fixed it, just like recently. Because that's clearly a valid format string, but it's getting this type error. think it's because it's not actually working. This, it's right there, isn't it? Oh, there. Here we go. Okay, closer. Duration is working. Oh, but Word. This is Word. Really. Okay, we're gonna deprecate some things. Or add some deprecated things here. Oh, because it has to be down to Word. Well, I would have thought that that would have gotten this. Huh. Did I make a base rows of the pilot row? Yeah, there it is. Well, here's where we're going to use the vdaw feature of Control Y to see this is an edit row. It's having a hard time seeing the duration even though it says it here. Why is that? Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, so, oh, here's all our durations, right there. So got that. If I do Control Y, cut false, end is fine, I guess. $31, that's correct. Start 12373. No, sorry. Start is 4097. Well, yeah, okay. Oh, there's word and text. How come it's not showing up here? Oh, because they're items, not properties or attrs. Okay. There we go. Marker is not set because it's called section now. Header? Section. Okay, section is actually blank. Why is section blank? Oh, because section's not in there yet. We add it after this. No. Oh, I see. It's still called marker. Okay. Okay. And Bob is your uncle, as they say in overseas. You know, this text, I do want the text. Oh, if the whole thing is cut, I might want to show the text to see how it's cut. Yeah, maybe. I'll leave it as an option. Self.cut, then do it in all rows, subrows. Otherwise, do it in all uncut rows. So in partial cuts, we won't show it, but in here we'll, okay, that seems fine. And you can kind of drill down if you want to see. Okay, so that's this refactor. What else? The goal here was to make it this object so that I could split off or split it in half. Be like, okay, show me the split at the nth word. So let's try that. what do I want to return here? Is this a list of the sub-rows? Or is it a full new object? Full new edit row, I guess. Except for I might have to have two edit rows because I might have to change the current one. I don't want to actually modify the current one. So maybe it is a tuple. Edit rows. What do you think, Wombat? A tuple of edit rows? That makes sense. So we're going to iterate through, let's see here. I'm debating right this moment whether I want to iterate recursively or maintain a stack inside of an iterative loop so that I can do all the cutting. Okay, do I have to? Do I want to? Honestly, I need to know which one. Splitting at time is going to be easier because I'm not going to know. I'm going to know which how many words there are. Let me do a count words here. Number of words. Property. This is going to be return some. This is where I do kind of want like the edit row to be the one and only class that knows how to handle its own base cases. Maybe this just split. Kind of hate it if it's just split. Maybe that's right, though. So split at the nth word, then is going to while or for each subrow in self.subrows. And the nth word includes the cuts, right? Oh, if it does, I can't use text.split. So it might be that I can't use this to edit the middle of an edit. That seems legit, though. Maybe. I guess it's just this either which way. And I wouldn't need this n words here. If n is greater, not n, this is word num. If word num is greater than n, now we founded it. This is SR is the word is in SR. Otherwise, it keeps going. And so we're going to break. I've been wanting the for else construct more now in this project than any other project so far, but it's still not making me happy to use it. So, although in this exact case, it'd be pretty handy. I guess I want to say if that's true. Oh yeah, or if it runs out, but. See here. We have to dive into it. We have to do SR, split it word. No, this is the error. This is no such. Just return self. It's not self. It's going to be like self none or something like that, or maybe just none. But in any event. If it's at the start of this subrow, we can do special cases to like not have to rearrange everything. But if it's in the middle of it, then we need to then we need to split at word in there. So SR split at word. And this is actually n minus word num. So the idea here is that we're going to now recurse down, splitting as needed, and we're going to create our before row, oh, that's not going to work. Well, I'll just do it. Oh, no, I don't need that. And R2 is going to be in the same section, not the header, same speaker. Speaker probably should also be composed like the other ones, but for now we're going to leave it. And then we're going to say, I'm going to be lazy here for the moment, but R1 subrows equals A, and R2 subrows equals B. Really? Is that all we have? Seems pretty... Can you guys hear that plane? I keep asking. I'm not sure if anybody can or not, but... God, it's like Hunt the Pixel. Huh. Okay, well, it feels like it's showing up as like negative 40 decibels here. Ooh, I see it's just the barest minimum, but okay. Anyway, welcome, Cupcake. By the way, I didn't see you there. It's hard for me to see people if they don't chat, but it's good to see you here. So is this going to work for me here? Return R1, R2. Split the nth word. Looks reasonable to me. I'm thinking that I'm going to make the split at time be very similar. It's really the same exact function, except for instead of this word num thing, it's going to be using the time. Let me see how close this is. Split at time. So we're going to find the time at which. This is a little bit, the time maybe shouldn't be the first time necessarily. It might have to be the minimum time. The start rather, but I can do that later. Okay, we're just going to look. Actually, I think this is going to be even simpler here. If SR start So I could bisect this with a cleaner way to do it, but maybe I do use that at some point. But I think that if I can just use this now, let's try this. Oh, makes me nervous, but let's try it. So we were back to the word wrap, text wrap rather. Okay. So we're going to split at the word number here. Okay. So this is row dot split word. Okay, so there's a chance this just works. I'll just keep trucking along here. Hopefully this is going to be... No. I mean, it's always something, but... Edit row, okay. Why not edit row? Oh, I think, okay, I can't. Python's type system is not super great. I thought I could use a type inside of itself, but I guess not. Okay, so now if I reformat this, any words, there's none. Okay, it didn't like that. Okay, so I think what's happening here is that my condition is not being met. If word num... Oh, well, it's not going to be... Because it's... Okay, so I gotta... I really don't like the Python for else construct, and I really am bouncing off of it. It makes me so uneasy. It's going to throw me off every time, but I really want it exactly here. I guess I can just do this for now. Oh, right, there's no subword. Okay, right. Here's the base case. If this is a edit row, then we do that. But otherwise, if it's not, then it's just an adder dict, which means that oh wait. So it's at this word that it happens. A is gonna be the word, and B is going to be empty. This is here. Otherwise, we return a set of rows for and the set of rows after. And actually, I guess I do want to maintain two sets. So if it is after, it's after rows. Otherwise, it's before rows. Um, if word num is less than n is less than word num is less than subwords, then it's in here. If word num is less than n, then wait, no, 4 rows. If word num is less than subwords is greater than n, and it's afterwards. Otherwise, mid-row. Okay. And so if it found a mid-row, oh man. How do I find out what word number to do that? Okay. Basically, we're going through this, finding the before, the after, and the mid-row, and we're going to have this be forwards plus A, afterwards plus B, no, B plus afterwards. In this case, we're just going to do before words, afterwards, even though I think it's a little bit funky. Okay, well, I may have to debug this here by stepping through it somehow, or doing some printf debugging. This is the idea, though, that we want to cut it and maintain the structure of the whole thing all the way down. So let's see here. Oh, I see this. I don't think that changes anything, though. Oh, it does. 4 rows. Oh, okay, well. So there's no mid-row being found. It actually doesn't smell right either. Split at word. I'll have to redo this here. Okay. It's only ever doing the first row. So hold on. So taking this, splitting it at it. We want the. Oh yeah, we don't want. Okay, hold on. So if I do this and then. Oh, I say it's repeating a whole list, but it's not. It should be extending. Wait, what? Split at word. Oh, not for rows. It's got to create this new edit row. Okay, I got to think this through. So we're not getting a mid row. Let me actually just do a status here. In the case that we have gotten all the way through here, status of for rows, after rows, mid row, I guess. Ugh. So, for rows. Hello and welcome to Mad World. Okay, so let's just put a length. Let's do the length of the for rows and after rows. And a text of mid-row. Fun times, no word. Okay, so 1566, that's 81 every time. So it's doing actually the right kind of thing. Actually, this seems like it's pretty legit. I think it's the outer part that's bunk. Oh, well, I guess it could be this part that's bunk here. Wait a second, no. It's always none. That's the bunk part. So it's doing the split fine, but it's expecting that there's going to be some place that's exactly the midpoint. Yeah, that's legit though. Why is that? Why is there never a mid-row? Because I think we're having an off by one error here. So there's exactly one word in something. Word num less than n. N less than word num plus 1. Yeah. It's an off by one error. I'm guessing it's subwords plus 1. Nope, still can't find it. What is wrong with me here? What am I missing? Not sure if you guys are paying attention. I'm imagining you're not. This is one of those. This is exactly the problem with live streaming, right? I've got the whole thing in my head. And I'm not sure if anybody else is following along or can follow along even with this thing in my head. It's not too complicated, but it's just complicated enough. So maybe Oh yeah, it makes total sense, Anya. I'm definitely, I mean, I can't even expect more than fractional attention from anybody. Debugging is hard though because, well, watching somebody debug is difficult. If you were debugging, you might try things. You might, put in a new printf or try to do an experiment to see what's going on, like I've been doing. But if you don't have the power yourself to ask questions and get them answered, then it's really hard to debug just from watching somebody's thing. I mean, every once in a while, I'll watch somebody doing something and I'll be able to figure it out because I know some. Right, exactly. Being able to scroll up and down to get more context would be invaluable. In this case, I'm pretty sure the problem is either here or here. and at the usage point of it. And I need to, I guess, do a little experiment here to see why I'm not getting the mid row. Like, it seems to me that this somehow I should be getting a mid row here. So basically, the idea is that if I have if I'm going over the list of words, and like this is a little bit of a degenerate case here because the top level item, the group here, is just a list. It's just one thing on the top, one edit row on the top, and then the next row down, next level down is the base case of all of the basic dictionaries, the individual words. And I guess, it's degenerate, but it's just, this has to get down here eventually anyway. We're just not seeing any of the progress making it down the tree because there's only one branch to the tree, or one level to it. So if we have a list of words and we're going along them and each one has just one in it, we're going to start with 0. The word num is going to be 0. The word num is going to be 1. And if we're splitting it, let's just say say there's 5 words and we're splitting it word 1. That's going to be, I don't know if we want to say it's between 0 and 1 or between 1 and 2, but either way, it's going to pick one, put all of the words before, and all of the words after. So if word num starting at 0, boom, less than n, yep, less than n, nope. And so it's word num plus subwords, that's 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3 is greater than n. Yep. Okay, so maybe is it like a -1? Hold on. So word num is 0. Yep, word num is 1, and n is 1. Word num is 1. Number of words is 1. It's 2. This should be -1. So word num being 1, subwords being 1. So if 1 is greater than n, then add it to that. And so basically if, yeah, I think I had it off by 1, except for it was a -1 instead of a +1. Is that going to be right? Well, okay. I guess I was right on that. So that's that first part there. So we're finding the mid row now, which is nice. It's not able to use it correctly. That's the second issue. We have a mid row. We're creating the 2 sub rows. Let's just statusify these as B plus, or is it? Ah, okay, now if mid row is an edit row, and this, otherwise we're going to return, oh, I think we got to do this still here. Oh, okay, I don't know if it's, okay, well, I think it's going to be this. Probably wrong, but at least we'll get this. No, that's not right. Oh. Split word returns the actual edit row. That's not right. It's not plus that. You know, oh, this does need this. I think this is. Maybe I do. Closer. Start time is, oh, I think if I look through this, it's going to have, yep, it's using the, it's not a, okay, that's, now this is the usage of it. It's wrong. So I should have it split into the before and the after. And the after becomes the new row. Actually, it's just that, isn't it? I don't need that anymore. Will this work? Hey! Okay. I have an off by one error. I think I want to make it be the after instead of the before, but I think that's just a minor. Thanks, Anya. I appreciate you. I think that it's this. I think I want it to be, if it's less than or no. Let's see here. Okay, so if I have the, maybe I do, we're going to -1. -1. Okay. Okay. There we go. And let's see if I actually am doing the editing, the cutting right, so that it will play at the right point.
Let's try it. Are we recording? 100,000. That's really all the math you need to know. Is mag2 times mag3, and you just add them together. You get 2 here. You should know 2 here.
Okay, you know what? Close enough. I want to do other things to make it so I can change the edit point. It's one of the tasks I have above. But yeah, I think that formatting is functional. I'm going to... Okay. Great. Well, first of all, I'm going to save this off so that I can not lose this stuff. I don't use data class anymore. Am I using copy? Not. I'm using text wrap. I'm using adder column, not item column. No, I got 2. Okay. Sure. Oh, actually, this is fine. No. Do you need this? Oh, this is the whole edit row thing. Okay. Well, let's do it. Add edit row. Reformat on R. Okay, let's do GR. As long as we're here. For row, oh boy. Can I be clever? No, I can't. I have to actually add rows in here. Do I have an expand already done? Okay, I just do it that way. Okay, let's gr. I have to fix this attribute error. That was a mistake to commit before I fixed that, but that's minor. Or well, hopefully it's minor. But looks like it's working, except wait a second. Okay, the issue here. Why did it not format everything? It did reformat some of this. Then stopped. Okay, so we have two bugs as far as I can tell here. One of them is that the reformatting doesn't seem to go past edits maybe, or maybe it's through edits. I don't know, something's going funky there. And the second one, there's these blank lines. Well, I guess there's this perpetual status message over here. That's the third bug. But then the second one is I've got these blank lines up here. I think it's cut things. Cut things aren't being done right. And then the other one was, it's a blank rows. And then I'm gonna fix these errors straight away here. Why is it the row a list now? I think that was an issue with this. If there's no mid row, it's returning a list here, but it should be returning. Why is there no mid row? Oh, and there's just nothing in the row at all. Yeah, okay. I don't care. I think that's just a degenerate case here. So we're gonna do none and let the user deal with it. Okay, this is there's a slight issue with the width. I think maybe it's width -2. -1, something like that. But otherwise, this is legit. The cuts have to stay in. Oh, they're actually automatically removed completely. And that's okay. That's the part that's not legit. I need to keep the cuts and keep them cut. Yeah, okay. So that's where we're at. Now, I'm going to take at least a little bit of a break, if not cut out for the afternoon. But yeah, I've got all selected rows. The bug here, that's correct. That's correct. The bugs are now that the cuts completely removed, but they shouldn't be. Yeah? You like that? The status? You mean, oh, well, yeah, okay, I got you. It's about the status line. And we're actually partially of the way through, meaning marker to section, and it's still kind of working. So, yeesh. But, yeah. I think this is a good, like I said, at least a good breaking point, a good point to take a break at. It's been about 2 hours that I've been here on the live stream, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I may come back and do another round, whether simple things or back to this thing, just to keep on trucking. Regardless, I will see y'all, or some of y'all anyway. I know, right? They have been going longer. It's an hour, then it's an hour and a half. Now it's just over 2 hours. I mean, I've been coding my whole life. I think I'm used to having coding stretches that go for hours and hours and hours, but not quite exactly in a row. That's the difficulty with live streaming. I do need breaks. Anyway, Mohammed and I are going to check out for the moment, and I am streaming tomorrow, at the very least, if not later on today, or maybe I'll be coding a little today on my own. I will see you all then. Have a good night, everyone.